Hey, everybody, and welcome to I can't believe we've been doing it for this long. What is it? The 128th episode of the Free Assange Vigil. So obviously things are looking a little different already. You don't see Andrew. I'll let you guys know what that's about in just a second. But obviously we want to go through the numbers as we do every week. So to start off, we have 4,038 days of illegal and arbitrary detention for Julian Assange. We have 1,002 days since the WikiLeaks founder was trafficked from the Ecuadorian embassy in exchange for a $4.2 billion loan from the IMF to the country of Ecuador. 363 days since Judge Vanessa Breitzer's January 6th ruling denying bail after ruling against extradition and motioning for his release herself on January 4th. 1,593 days of inhumane pre-trial detention for alleged Vault 7 whistleblower Joshua Schultz. 1,187 of those days have been spent under special administrative measures, which we've talked about extensively on this vigil. It is hell on earth. 1,011 days since the start of the political persecution of Ola Beni by the Ecuadorian government. You can follow him on Twitter, by the way, if you want to keep up. He updates about his case fairly regularly. I think it's just at Ola Beni, OLABINI. Let's see, 161 days since drone program whistleblower Daniel Hale pled guilty to one charge under the Espionage Act. It has been 77 days since Hale was sent to a communications management unit in the United States Penitentiary, Marion, Illinois. It has been 34 days since journalist Craig Murray was released from prison after serving 4 months for the crime of journalism, which is great. 41 days since Reality Winner was put on parole. Her family has a big pardon campaign going on. If you guys want to help out with that, I believe they use just hashtag pardon reality. I think they have petitions and stuff. So, help with that if you want to. And then 663 days of freedom for Chelsea Manning, who is on Twitch. I think she streams pretty regularly on Twitch. I think it's Chelsea XY87 or whatever. And then there's 312 days of freedom for Jeremy Hammond. So that's a lot of numbers. I always get a little winded. Okay, so Andrew is not here. Obviously, looks a little different. So Andrew is just going to take a little break. As you guys know, this can get pretty exhausting and soul crushing at times. So Andrew's going to take a break and he's going to take care of himself and just relax for a little bit. And we're going to keep going because we have to. So there's going to be a ruling. So, supposedly we don't have like a set date, but in mid-January, the judge will be ruling on the appeal that the defense team just put in. So, it's crunch time kind of right now. And so to help me move forward, you guys probably know him as Coy Contrarian on Twitter. I was lucky enough to meet him in DC in March at the Clovers for Assange protest, which was actually a lot of fun. Those actions are always actually a lot of fun. Like, I hate even complaining about like the 6.5 hour drive and it's fun. It's exhausting, but it's fun. So thanks, man. Thanks for joining me to co-host and to help me keep this ship moving. We got to keep it, so yeah. I don't know.
I'll let you take a break. I'll speak here for a minute so you can catch your breath.
Yeah.
But no, first and foremost, thanks for even considering me. You're right. The ship needs to continue because, obviously some big events here are going to be popping off here in a few days, weeks. And so I am less informed as yourself and Andrew are on the situation, but as a former journalist, actually propagandist for the United States military, I do understand the importance of free speech, of actual journalism, of informing the public of what the people you pay taxes to do with your money, So no, thanks a bunch for even considering me. It's a pleasure.
You do have a unique background to do this because you were a journalist in the military. So, I mean, you've been on the other side of kind of what we're looking at here, which is the propaganda arm of, the whatever you want to call it, the ruling elite, the deep state, whatever. But it's all kind of the same, propaganda model. And so you have like a really unique perspective. So I'm excited. It was cool to meet you in March too. That was really just so much fun.
There was so many people that I met that I only knew as, as Twitter follows for
Twitter
a long time. Yeah. And so I prefer faces and voices over text messages and tweets. So yeah, fun. for all the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
but fun nonetheless.
Yeah. It's constant motion while we're there. Nobody really gets a lot of sleep. You're either making buttons or shirts or loading something up or looking for the duct tape. That's always a big one. Somebody's always looking for duct tape. Yeah, but those actions are I would love to do more of them. It's so hard. I don't think people realize just how expensive activism is. It's hard, especially in the US because everybody's spread out so far. It's really difficult to get a lot of people into one area. So to get people to DC or whatever, that's hard. It's hard even just to get people in their own communities right now. It's hard with the stupid COVID and all of that crap. And I don't know, it's just everybody's so busy. And so this is we're just in a
And
really
we
bad
literally
spot right
are
now.
across the map, like for the people
Yeah.
that I met there. I mean, like
Yeah.
you had Steve in Sleepyard in California, Kimber was in Washington, Emma and
Daniel's
I are in
North
Minnesota.
Carolina. Yeah, you're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm in Ohio. Andrew's in Ohio. Taylor's in
Yeah.
Ohio. I mean, we're all over the place. That's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Paula's in
And
Boston. I mean, yeah, I wish we could get together more often. Yes.
and
The
then
Action
and
for
then with
Assange tour
everything,
bus, Reef. Yes. Yes. We wanted to do that actually. Before COVID hit, not kidding. We talked about like getting a little tour, but like a beat up old tour bus and like doing tours and then doing like teach-ins.
I feel like that's old school hippie stuff that I would have been totally on board for.
That would have been fun. And I think it would have been effective. Especially like hit college campuses and you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I would love to do that, but it's hard right now. Plus it's expensive. Again, it's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like even gas for something like that would just be astronomical. So, and I hate raising money. Like I hate raising money. Like, you
Asking
have
for
to,
money is the worst. Yeah.
It is. It's the fucking worst. I hate doing it. Oh, yeah. So I don't know.
You mentioned going to college campuses. I would, if you have any insight on this, or if anybody else does too, like what are the college campuses? How are they looking at the Assange trial?
I think it varies. I think it depends on the college that it is, the demographic that goes there. But I think that as with anything, younger people are seeing through the bullshit quicker. So I mean, anybody who would come to a teach-in who would be interested in it, I think that would be a very successful adventure. You know what I mean? Because
there's been so much unnecessary like Trump stuff trying to be added into the whole Assange thing, right? Like being like a pro-Trump thing, which it clearly is not, but you and I both know how that works.
Well, that's why like doing something like a tour like that or a teaching like that. That's because you have to combat the narrative. They're going to try to twist things around. That's what they've done with Assange this whole fucking time. That's what we've talked about. There's been a decade-long smear campaign against this one individual to do exactly what they're doing right now. They have demonized him. They have dehumanized him. They have turned him into this comic book character. And so nobody gives a shit what's happening to him. And then because they don't care because it's him, they also are missing the fact of what it actually means and how it's not just Assange. Like this is not, when we say we are all Assange, it's not like it's just a catchy slogan. We really are all Assange. Like this is going to come for all of us. It really is. I know that sounds, people get so mad at me because I'm,
like with the colleges and all that, like, I mean, it's part of the Mickey Mat. So like the institution itself are terrible, but yeah, you're right. The students are seeing through the bullshit.
Yes.
A lot quicker. Like my kid's pretty black pilled and she's like 14.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you would still have to fight through. I mean, you're right. It is a completely, the institutionalized, no, but there's going to be people there.
The teaching idea, the thing I like most about it is you've got large swaths of the fucking country that think he's on trial for the
2016 election. Yeah. Yes.
That's
what I'm saying. There's so much
misinformation,
disinformation. Really, it's terrible. The way that everybody thinks he's a Russian. Everybody thinks he helped Trump get elected. There's so much bullshit about him that you have to actively combat. It's easier to do that in person for sure. But it's also, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot. It is a lot, you guys. They really have smeared him from every possible angle. I think they have managed to get every single demographic on planet Earth to hate him for some reason. Actually, I guess I mean, to be fair, he's kind of, because he exposes everybody, everybody's mad at him. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. That totally, you know what I mean? But yeah, that just makes it more difficult, because then they come in with their propaganda their smear campaign against him, and they make all this shit up and manipulate the public perception, and it's a lot because they're really good at this.
When I was in fucking LA, like some old piece of shit came up to me and was like, he just started screaming at me that he was a fucking traitor. Like, I was like,
Assange? I love that one. I love that. He's Australian, bitches. He can't be
I just fucking stood up and said, man, move the fuck along. Like, I was just not having it.
That's literally my favorite. It is my favorite. Really? He's a traitor? Can somebody please explain that to me? How does that work exactly? He's never been American. WikiLeaks has never been an American publication, ever.
Those dots, ridiculous. There's a lot of missing dots in that connection. Yeah, that's one that they're making up on their own,
but it's been effective. There's a huge part of the population that will, not a huge, but because there's not a huge amount of people who know about Julian Assange. That's a whole other conversation, but the people who, it's a big percentage of people who use that and who say he's a traitor, and it's amazing how effective that is.
One of my close friends didn't even thought he was a citizen of the U.S. up until 2 years ago. It's insane.
Never been. Not a once. I don't know. But that just shows you how effective they are at what they do, because that sticks. That has stuck. People believe that. There's a significant portion of people who believe that Julian Assange is a traitor to the United States of America. That's so funny.
It's so crazy too, because the people that you would expect to stick up for Assange are the ones who aren't because of initially he was sought after for exposing the war crimes, and that was all in those days were the George Bushes and Tony Blairs, right? And so you would expect,
who just got knighthood, motherfuckers.
Yeah, but sorry. you would think that they would at least be on board in that respect. But it's like, is it because we're so far away from that it's just totally forgotten on why he's even being sought after to begin with?
You guys,
yeah, go ahead.
No. This whole situation is so beyond fucked up. Like, I know I say that all the time, but it really is just the way that they've managed to go after him. People should go back and study it. It's fascinating, the levels of propaganda that they've gone after him on, and it's slow walked. Like, it's not like they went after him hardcore all at once. It was like over years they've picked apart his character, and now here we are, and the end result has nothing really, it really has nothing to do with him. Yes, his life is absolutely worth fighting for. It's worth it. I'm not saying that's no, but it's really not about him. It's about so much more than that. It really is, which I know that sometimes, and I've said this before, I think that the Assange movement has maybe done improperly. Maybe we should have done more balance, like making it make the bigger picture more apparent. I'm willing to take that and consider it and take that as constructive criticism, because I don't think a lot of people understand the bigger picture. It's amazing. Actually, it's amazing to me. It is amazing to me.
When you said we're all Assange, and you didn't want it taken as kind of like a
catchy slogan.
Weak statement, catchy slogan. He is kind of the biggest domino to fall, if you think about it, because then anyone who goes after any government for any type of war crime or anything related to that, they're going to use Assange as the example.
it really is. When I know it's dramatic, but it is precedent setting. This does set a historical precedent. He will be the first journalist ever charged under the Espionage Act, and he's not even American. We're charging a foreign journalist under our Espionage Act, but affording him none of the protections of the First Amendment. Does anybody not understand why that's really bad? The United States this is a massive power grab over your civil rights, civil liberties, and not just ours, like around the globe. This means, I kind of love this sentence, but the United States is seeking global jurisdiction over information and journalism. And that should terrify everybody. That's a crazy amount of power that they're trying to grab right now. And Julian is just the first. He's the head on the stake. I've compared him to that before. He really is just a head on a stake. He's the warning. And it's already been effective. The chilling effect that it's already had on journalism and whistleblowers has been incalculable. There's no way we'll ever know the damage that has been done in silencing a lot of people who are terrified. What wouldn't you be? I mean, have you seen what they did to Chelsea? Have you seen what they are doing to Julian? Have you seen what they did to Reality Winner? I mean, what they're doing to Daniel Hale right now, what they're doing to Mumia, it's seriously the most ridiculous method. But yeah, we're in a bad spot. There's a lot of this, and it's all meant to, it's not just about silencing Julian. It's about silencing all of us, really. And it's scary.
Just what they did to Chelsea alone should terrify anybody.
Yes.
And I was in the military. I think when she was in trial, because what was that, 2012?
I think 2011, yes, I'll say yes. Around that time. Yeah.
And not a lot of people were talking about it, and then obviously, like, the only time it'd get brought up is like, fuck that guy, girl, whatever. That was normally what you would get the extent out of it. But the other part of that is, like, if you're in that position that she was in, and you're watching literally, war crimes happen right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, you're a low-ranking soldier, so you're probably going to get screwed. But if you have any bit of a conscience whatsoever, that has to go up the flagpole. And, like, what else? What are you going to do when you're basically told, like, keep your mouth shut?
Yes. And that's what drives me nuts about, because everybody always says, they should have gone through proper channels. Are you joking me? Are you that infantile that you think that there are proper channels to go through for something like that? There's not proper.
Chelsea Manning did.
Yeah, and she did. So did Edward Snowden. So did Reality. Yes, they all try to go through proper channels. It wasn't effective. You want to know why? Because their superiors are the ones who are doing the bad thing.
Correct. And it's their jobs on the line. It's their career. It's everything.
I hate that. Oh, it's like the traitor thing. It's so dumb.
It really is. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go tell on you to you.
It's like when the cops investigate themselves and decide they did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? It's the same fucking thing. And people say that all the time. Like, what are you talking about? Stop it.
Well, there were so many instances too when I was in that, female soldiers are getting sexually assaulted by their superiors, and who are they supposed to go to? Because if that, and it's such a good old boys club too. So if they're, let's say it's their first sergeant who was sexually harassing them. Well, if they go to the commanding officer who's, above the first sergeant, well, if they're boys, right, and they've worked together in the past because they both have, at that point, 15 plus year careers, and they've probably ran into each other, and they know each other, and their families know each other, and all this shit. And you think that that's somehow going to be to your benefit? It's absurd to think that Manning was in any position to do the right thing and not get fucked somehow.
Yeah. Well, no whistleblower is in a good position. Powerful people don't want their secrets exposed. That's just a thing. I mean, that's always going to be a thing. Powerful people they're all corrupt, and none of them want their secrets exposed. Not a one of them. So it's that's always going to be a problem. That's why we have to support whistleblowers and back them up when they come forward, because that's that takes a lot of, seriously. I know I tell this story all the time, but every time I think about this, the fact that Julian Assange was already years into illegal and arbitrary detention at the Ecuadorian embassy, like 5 years into having been stuck in the embassy, he already knows that he's public enemy number one of like all of the powerful people, like all of them, right? Everybody hates him. And he published Vault 7 any damn way. That is a level of courage I don't think I possess. I just do not.
Absolutely not.
I just do not.
No, I don't.
I that's the largest CIA leak in history. And you already know that they all hate you, and and I think that he already knew that they had I don't know if there were already plans to assassinate him at that point, because I think that came afterwards, because they got really embarrassed by that. Mike Pompeo was not a happy camper when Vault 7 went out at all. And actually, that's really what I think pushed it over the line to the point where, we're not going to let him just hang out in the embassy anymore, because the CIA got embarrassed. And I think that really was like the next level, Vault 7 was it's a big deal. But yeah, it's that to me. I don't know that I have Chelsea Manning's courage. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to think that I would. I've never been in a position to have access to that kind of information. But I don't think so. I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't think I have that kind of courage.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that I don't, because when I was I was constantly tiptoeing around, making sure that my nose was clean. And so I would have to imagine if I was put in that position, I'd be like, fuck, I can't. Yeah. Like I have to keep, because at the time I was married and I had a little kid, and we were a single income family. Like that would have been everything on the line, and so I don't know. Maybe situation would be different had I been like a single person right, and didn't have all these other people that depended on me. But in retrospect too, though, you would have to think that like, hey, if I'm going to put myself on the line that heavily, you would have to think that there's a community of people such as others around that would support the family in the midst of, going through something as horrific as that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wish I mean, that's what sucks about all of everything that's happening, is that we need more whistleblowers. We are in desperate need of more whistleblowers. And we're not going to get them. We're not going to get them, unfortunately, because they've done a very good job of scaring everybody and making sure that everybody knows that if you fuck with them, this is what happens to you. And I can't get people to care. That's the thing. If people cared, okay, so we just mentioned earlier that Tony Blair received knighthood. What the fuck is happening? This dude is a gross ass war criminal of the highest order. This dude should be in jail. He should be in prison.
Should be at Belmarsh.
He should be in the Hague. He should have to go. You know what I mean? Like he should. Yeah. Let's go. What the fuck are we doing? And we're getting knighthood.
Yeah.
I don't know how. But I will say there's a petition going around that is like millions, or I don't even know. I think it's up to I don't know. It was up to it went like 500,000 in like 36 hours or something crazy. People signed this petition to take this away from him. Can you imagine if we had that kind of energy for freeing Assange? Christ.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's have that kind of energy for the guy who exposed Tony Blair. Let's do that. Correct. Let's do that. You know what I mean? But we're very reactive. We wait until this terrible shit happens. And it's just because, I don't know if it was somebody else. Look at the way that we've rehabilitated George W. Bush. Are you joking? This dude's like he's like, oh, so cutesy now.
But Misty, he paints.
Yeah, he paints and he hands out candy at funerals. And isn't he cute? And, Michelle Obama gives him a hug and
dances with Ellen.
Yes, it's gross. Like I don't understand why this is a thing that we allow, because we're just allowing it. There's no reason why we have to be accepting of that. And here we are, just not saying anything when Jesus. Legit.
But that's the thing is like you, Andrew, a bunch of others have been obviously speaking out for a very long time, close to 3 years, something like that, right?
At least here, yeah. This has been 3 years almost.
And that's the thing is like, your efforts are commendable, honorable, all that stuff. And it just seems like because of the condition of, I'm going to blame social media. I blame social media for a lot of stuff. I blame social media for the reason that nobody knows about anything that's real, and everyone bitches about, Mr. Potato Head being a woman or whatever, right? Like the stuff that we should be caring about is, and I'm guilty of it just as much as the next person. There's pockets of time where I'm like, I should not pay attention to this over here and just pay attention to the real stuff over here. And if you think about it, we've been fighting with each other on social media for about 15 years. It's been close to a decade and a half of fighting on social media about all kinds of stuff, politically, whatever, right? And we've just gone down this stretch of time for so long, not getting anywhere fast, right? And I'll admit, when I connected with you guys on Twitter before I met you guys, it was just like, whatever. And then when I meet you guys, and it's like, these are real people doing real shit that are like losing sleep and paying money and doing the things that need to be done to just at least have a platform where if people want to get the information, they can.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're not going to get it from corporate news. Right. They're not going to get it from local news. They're not going to get it from newspapers and anywhere else, except for if they actually are looking for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any efforts else that can be made to try to go over that hump, so to speak, because so much effort and so much time and so much money has already been given at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is why, and I realize not everybody's going to agree with me, but I think that narrative control is the front fucking line of everything, because it is the way that they're able to manipulate the storyline and the way that we feel about the storyline. They're very emotionally manipulative. And so that, to me, that's it. Like, we have to win that battle first. And we're actively handing away that power. Not only are we not fighting for people like Julian Assange, we're also cheering on censorship. We're not, you and I are not, but right. People are cheering on censorship.
And have the blinders on what that means. They don't know what that means.
No.
They hear like, oh, that guy's bad. Okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Is it Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Whatever.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I always want to say Marjorie Greene Taylor, but I don't think that's right. I think it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. You guys know I suck at names. But like, she just got I think it was her personal account got banned or suspended. I'm not sure which one. I don't care. She shouldn't be banned or suspended. I mean, I'll die on that fucking hill, bitches. I will die on that hill. Social media corporations should not be able to control who has speech and who does not. I agree that we need to, reach a better solution. And I'm like, we're not all going to agree on one solution. But we already have we already have laws against inciting violence and threats and all of that stuff. So, the way that it's so selectively applied, to directly affect the way that we're able to organize and fight back, it's bad. We're losing. We are losing hardcore on this front. And that's everything. Because if we can't even get information out there, if we can't have legitimate conversations about these issues that we're all trying to figure out and that we're all facing. And again, I'll say it again. They're using it to keep us divided. When we need to come together, because we may have our differences, but we can't address any of those until we deal with the system. You know what I'm saying?
There's so much more in common with all of us as regular citizens than any of us are to literally any politician.
Yeah.
Like we have far more in common, right?
Yes.
And when I say any politician, I'm talking about like the actual like senators, congressmen, all the federal and then governors, whatever. But like the higher up guys, right?
Yeah.
We have nothing in common with those people. Absolutely nothing. They're on a totally different playing field than the rest of us are. And I don't think people truly understand what that means, right? And then kind of going back to what you were saying about whatever her name is, Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever.
I think it's Marjorie Taylor Greene because it's MTG. I'm better at acronyms.
Whatever her name is. Like, I don't like her either. I don't like any politician, to be perfectly honest, but like, you know, but they justify suspending her with, you know, inciting violence, you know, all this January 6th.
No, it was for, wasn't it for medical misinformation? Wasn't it COVID related?
Whatever.
I think it was COVID related.
For Christ's sake, like,
that pisses me off. Anyways,
okay, so if you're gonna suspend her, then you got to suspend virtually anyone who's ever said anything about COVID CDC, ever.
Joe Biden, Kamala Harris,
everyone,
everyone,
Joe Biden, for Christ's sake.
Everyone
Joe Biden said you can't get COVID if you get the vaccine. Yeah,
you don't have to wear a mask anymore. Just get the vaccine. You're fine. You can go back to normal. You know, lots of things. They've all lied about lots of things. They've all pushed medical misinformation in some form or another. Not to mention, who gets to decide what's medical misinformation? Who is the arbiter of truth?
No shit.
Because I'm not comfortable with anybody being the arbiter of truth at all. I'm a grown up. This is something that is, especially this, we should be able to do this for everything. We should be able to talk about whatever the fuck we want to. We should be able to say whatever the fuck we want to. I mean, within reason. I don't think you should be able to threaten people and, you know,
clearly,
yes. Yeah. I mean, we need to, there's obviously got to be some, you know, grown up stuff that we got going on, be an adult about it. But yeah, we should be able to talk, but especially something like COVID. It's something that is impacting literally every human being on planet Earth right now. We should be able to say whatever the fuck we want all the time. All the time. We should be able to have conversations. We should be able to question everything. We should be able to be skeptical about Pfizer and Moderna and all of those people. And we should, no restrictions. You do not get to tell me what to think, what to say, how to feel. Nope, not a thing that's going to happen. We need to have access to all information. It needs to be incredibly transparent. If you don't want misinformation, then y'all need to be more transparent. If you were transparent with people and honest with people, but they're never going to be honest because it's not about being honest. It's about making a profit. It's about power and control. And so this is, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's incredibly important to be able to say whatever we want and have access to all of the information that we want. No restrictions. It's ridiculous to think, you know what I mean? It's just, this is something again that impacts literally every human being on earth. You know,
it's when you don't allow people to view the information for 75 years, like where do you think conspiracy theorists come from? Like where do you think that they just like pop out of nowhere? Like they come from stuff like that. That's where they come from. It's the
same thing with the Maxwell thing. They don't want to give the black book out. Are you joking me? Are you kidding? Y'all, they were running a child pedophilia ring with amongst like elite. I don't even like that word because they're not elite, but I mean, people in incredible positions of power are implicated in this whole thing, and they're not going to release that. They're not going to go. Those people need to be in court right now on trial. What is happening?
It's been said multiple times now, ever since they sealed up the documents, is like, so she is guilty of child pedophilia to no one.
Right. What is I don't understand why is this a thing that we're allowing to happen? We should be in the fucking streets furious that we don't have access to this information. That's incredibly gross. These are, I mean, seriously, Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton. I'm not saying that they're guilty, so don't come for me. But, you know, these are people who are implicated. Donald Trump. These are all people who are implicated. Lots of people, Bill Gates and tons of people who have a lot of money and power are implicated in this child pedophilia ring.
When you have the guy who's been pushing the whole vaccine thing the whole time, tied specifically to a guy, to Maxwell, to Epstein, right? Like, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered that aren't being answered. Where do you think conspiracy theorists come from? That's where they come from. When you don't allow that information out, that's when people start going, well, I'm going to find it on my own.
Yes. Especially something like this. Like, I don't think that there is a worse thing on earth than somebody who harms children. And so I have no time or patience for anybody who wants to cover up for these scumbags. Not at all. Like you don't get to, nope. They need to be in court on trial right now. And even then, I don't even know, because our court system is ridiculous. Look at what happened to Ghislaine Maxwell. 65 years. Julian Assange is facing 175 years in a supermax prison. She's going to go to some cushy federal penitentiary. if she's even going to, but seriously, it's our legal system is busted. That's what I'm saying. We're really far gone. Like, we're losing on every front. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. Debbie Downer. But we are losing. We're really far behind. They're leaps and bounds ahead of us on everything. And I think at this point, and this is going to sound very doomsday, but I think that the empire is just going to fall. It's going to fail. I don't think there's any way to turn it around. I think we just all have to brace ourselves.
So I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole. We can just touch on it, but like, so here's the thing, like, so Rome fell, so all these other empires fell and throughout the history of time, right? How far do they fall, really? Because if we're saying like move. Right,
power transfers,
so and so, because when people say that, I think there's a little bit that they're not being honest about, and that is like fall, like what? Now we're 212th in the world, or however you want to categorize that. You know what I mean? And so I think
now it's worse because there's been such a consolidation of power that then I think it was more diverse. It was more spread out. I think now there's been a massive consolidation of power over the years.
Not globalized in the Rome days, right? Like it's impossible.
Right. But that's what I mean. So now it's even like we're in even a worse position.
Right.
It's really out of fucking control. I don't know where that goes.
And I'm not educated enough to like really fully understand the concept of this, but there's ideas that, since kind of what you were just explaining, that if the US falls, right, the empire falls, that we just become communist China because they're next in line, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that, but on that same kind of area of what what we're talking about with globalization and things like that, it becomes more likely, for lack of a better way to put it. Again, this isn't my area of expertise, and I'm just kind of thinking out loud rather, but.
No, I know. It's impossible to even be able to figure this shit out because we have no idea what this is going to look like. I mean, it's unprecedented what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I mean, again, I really don't like being negative, but honestly, I think it's being realistic. It's going to get bad.
It is.
It's already bad. I mean, look around you. It's already bad.
And Emma brings up another good point too.
Sorry, I'm so bad at the chat, you guys.
I'm bad at it too, but she brought up a good point too about the whole eugenics thing.
Yeah.
Just talking about that for the past decade and plus.
Oh my gosh, Emma, you're a conspiracy theorist. Y'all, they're on camera talking about it openly.
On camera,
openly talking about it. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a real thing that's happening at high levels of power. Again, World Economic Forum, Bill Gates. It's a real thing that's happening. I'm so tired of that being dismissed as tinfoil hat. Nope. That's a real thing. Stop it, y'all. You gotta, whatever you think they're doing, it's a million times worse. Let yourself go there. You cannot put anything past them, really.
And Emma brings up something else too, like the whole the Trump backers saying like, oh, well, he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Okay, so
I don't understand why
so that erases the possibility that Trump was fucking kids.
He's credibly accused,
right?
I don't know
why. It's still the
tribalism,
very credible. Yeah, it is.
Oh, if there was one thing I think I could erase from the world, I think it would be tribalism. Because it's so damaging, you guys. It's like I keep seeing people complaining because people are being mean to Joe Biden, and I remember seeing that it's every president. Oh my gosh, you're being so mean to blah, 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 blah. We should be mean to all of them all the time, not just when it suits you. They're all terrible. They're all the same. I mean, yes, it's a different book or a different cover, but it's the same book. Like it's the same exact
everyone's subjected to criticism, especially quote unquote elected officials. Like that is their whole thing. Is that you should hold them accountable.
Public servants
things aren't going right.
To you. Yeah. Yes.
Like that's the whole idea.
And instead they have the lowest approval ratings of all time. And I bet you most of them will get reelected.
Oh, of course they will.
You guys, that's gonna happen. Come on, that's gonna. A lot of them are gonna get. Yeah, right. Yeah. Reelected, but nobody's gonna question that. Nobody's gonna want to talk about the fact.
Did you see that 2006 documentary about the voting machines that were like very easily
there was a recent
hackable?
one. They did it at what the hell's the name of that thing? Oh, my brain just froze. The computer, it's like a con for hackers, whatever it is. Oh, but like a 12-year-old hacked into our voting system. Thank you. Oh, thank you. But yeah, like a 12-year-old girl hacked into our voting system in like 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, but my point is like the talk about false elections has been going on well before 2016, 2020. I mean, I still remember vividly everything that was going on in 2000 between Bush and Gore in Florida and all the stuff, all the questions going on there.
It's a way to keep us divided. Oh my God, you guys stole it. Like, oh, it's not fair. And then your tribe gets mad at the other tribe and you want to fight. Now you're mad. And it's all terrible. None of them are worth your time. You shouldn't be fighting for any of them or donating to any of them. None of them. Zero of them. Not even your favorites. Nope. Not even them. Like,
can we just bring on Emma? She's got so many things that I like want to talk about that she's mentioning in the comments.
I don't know hold on. I don't know how to send a link while I'm in here.
Sorry, Emma, if you're not camera ready.
Well, and you don't have to, or you can just come audio only if you want to, I guess. Where am I? Twitter.
Yeah,
sorry guys, we're doing it live.
You'll have to change the settings to add the audio only people.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I want to hear her Jimmy Dore laugh too.
And Lucky also said earlier that I meant to read out loud that we should have mutual aid for whistleblowers, and I 100% support that. I think that there's a couple different places that have been trying to do that, like Courage Foundation and stuff like that. They've been trying to. That's kind of their gig. But it needs to be bigger than that. Like the day that we paid off Chelsea Manning's court fines in like 36 hours, I lived for that. Was awesome. That fueled me for so long, you guys. I still, like, you can tell, I still get like a buzz from that. That was amazing to watch.
That was one of the best fuck yous to the court system that I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, that was.
How did that pan out?
What do you mean?
What? How did that all like kind of happen?
Her court fees, it
was like $250,000 or some shit. It was crazy.
It was like 200 maybe it was like over 300. Hold on.
It was a lot.
I live tweeted the whole adventure. I was so invested. I kept retweeting like, okay, it's down to this. All right, guys, we've raised this. Like, oh, I was going, seriously, I was buzzing so much off of that because it went so fast. I'm not kidding, like 36 hours. And we had a shit ton. Hold on, I'm going to look it up because I want to know what it was.
When did this happen?
Right after she got out.
Year ago or so, 2 years maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bad at figuring out how long ago stuff
my sense of time is fucked.
Yeah, COVID, not joking, the whole COVID situation, time doesn't make any sense anymore to me.
None of it.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one because it really does not.
No, dude, it like I was always bad with that, but it's like 100,000 times worse now.
$256,000. Bam!
Jesus.
36 hours. We fucked it up.
That's insane.
Yes. Hi,
Emma. Hello.
Sorry, guys. But this is like a very non-structured vigil. Not like any vigil is very structured, but this is really just kind of like a get to know Eric vigil. Let you guys know what was happening. Kind of get like some update stuff going. Like talk about what's going on. So it's a little bit of a weird episode, but yeah. Just so everybody knows, we're going back to Tuesdays and Fridays before we welcome Emma. We're going back to Tuesdays and Fridays at 9:00. I've already booked a couple really great people coming up. I'm trying to get Tara Reid on. We have Alex Rubenstein. And who else did Addie Ads, who was doing the on the ground coverage of the Maxwell trial. So that's next week on Tuesday, Friday. I don't have anybody for this Friday yet, but I'm still working on. Andrew always did booking. So like for 2 days, I've been trying to figure this shit out. So I've been booking too, but we're going to try to get Tara Reid, Katie Halper, some other people. I don't know. I've reached out to Craig Murray. Fingers crossed, you guys. I should just talk to Deepa, but I hate asking for favors. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, just fucking do it.
I know, but I always feel douchey doing that. Like, hey, can you get me? You know what I mean?
dude, Deep is cool as hell, man.
I know. I know.
Don't.
I don't know.
You gotta just do it.
I know. I should, but you know me. That'll be a super awkward vigil because I'll be fangirling. I'll be like, hey,
I'll come on for that one.
Okay. Well, Andrew was in talks, or he was trying to figure out a way that he could get Craig Murray and Reality Winner on the same stream, and I was like, yes, that would be fun. I don't know if he's still going to do that though, but yeah, it would be excellent to get Craig Murray on. So maybe I will ask Deepa or Juan. Deep would probably be better though. But anyways, hi Emma.
Hey.
How's it going?
Okay, how are you guys?
Oh, just another day. Yeah.
It was fun to hear you. I've been listening to you.
It's been kind of a weird show. I'm in a really weird mood.
That's okay. But it was fun to listen to you guys talk about when you guys would meet in DC and
yeah, you were there.
All that.
It was
fun.
Yeah, I think March was maybe my favorite.
Yes.
I don't know. January was fun too because that was when we got the no extradition ruling.
Yes, that was really cool. I know you guys were like up late for that, and I was asleep, but then I woke up early, and I don't think I'll ever forget that moment of just waking up in the hotel and seeing that as like the first thing, and like waking up the other people that were in the room with me. Like, guys, oh my God.
Seriously, my favorite thing from that is still telling Allie. That was, and Sleepy Josh, if you watch it, I went back and watched it because embarrassing, but I watch it sometimes when I'm like down, because it helps me, it makes me smile, but I laugh every time because as we're all like we're like in a cuddle puddle on the couch, like hugging, like he's not gonna get extra, we're crying. Sleepy Josh is like, hey, you should ask Allie some questions, get some background. He's producing a whole ass show and we're not paying attention.
You're like sobbing.
No,
and Andrew's funny too because it was me, Kendra, Steve, Andrew, and so Steve read the no extradition, and the tweet before that, like he said something that sounded like kind of positive, and I was like, wait, what? And then the next one was no extradition, and I was like, and it took a minute, I'm not gonna lie, it took a minute for that to like sink in. What? And then like Kendra and I both started crying, and then Steve started crying, and then we all jumped on each other, and Andrew's sitting on the end, like still looking at the laptop. Somebody hands him his drink or their drink, and he just takes it, and he's just sitting there by himself. We're all like crying and hugging and like it literally in a pile on the couch, and he has no idea what's going on around him. It's so funny. Oh, one of my favorite pieces of video ever. Seriously, best facial expressions ever from Allie Mae.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I did like a little like 4 photo like little slide thing of how it sunk into her on the live stream. It was so
I was
great.
starting to rant and shit, and then like we got surprised
because it was all terrible fucking news.
It was all
like
shit, but
it was like 10 minutes of just trash. Like Steve's reading off, I think it was Kevin Gastola's tweets, and like each one was like worse than the next. She was just agreeing with the US on the prosecution on everything, all of the important stuff, right? Like just one after the other. And I was just, I didn't talk. Like Steve and I both got up at one point, I think to go to the bathroom or something, because it's hours long. We're there hours long. And he was like, you can talk. And I'm like, no, I can't, because I'm really angry. I've never been in a fight, and I was ready to fight people. I was ready to fight people that day. I really was. And yeah, so when it was like terrible, kind of good, bam, no extradition. It was like, what? And her reaction is amazing. It's amazing. I love her anyways, but it's like being able to be the ones, like Steve is the one that told her over the she was live. She was on like covering it for us in the streets of London, and he was the one that actually got it. That's because I love the London crew, you guys. I love them.
They're all solid people.
They're relentless. Like I've never met, like I haven't met all of them. I don't know. I maybe won't like them personally, but they're relentless. They're in the streets every single week. Some of them twice a week. And they're there. Rain, snow, COVID, doesn't matter. They will show up. They will pretend to be exercising so they don't get harassed by cops. They'll get harassed by cops anyway. Yeah, they're good people. They're crazy relentless. So That was a lot of fun. I don't know which was more fun though, Clover's. I think was more fun because it was a lot of people, like a lot of us.
Yeah.
That hadn't really. Were you there in January, Emma?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
But you were not, right, Eric?
No, I considered going, and I didn't because I thought there was going to be like a period where I had to have my kid, and it turned out I didn't, and I was like, whatever. And then it turned out that I probably should have gone, but I wasn't going to miss March for anything.
And then you complained a lot.
I did.
Afterwards, after I got back, he was like,
"Oh,
you should have gone to that."
Yeah.
I was very upset. I beat myself up over that quite a bit. Yeah.
Our Airbnb was terrible that time. It was super gross, and not in a great area. But yeah, it was still fun. It was still a lot of fun. I think we broke the couch. The furniture was terrible, really uncomfortable. Seriously, it was a pretty shoddy Airbnb, but it was. I mean, it was still a lot of fun. I don't think Steve slept.
Dude, that motherfucker never sleeps.
I know.
He never sleeps anyway.
I don't know how he has the energy to be on camera as often as he does. I get exhausted by being on camera. It wears me and he's on camera all the time. Like if he's not doing his own show, he's on somebody's show, or I don't know how he does it. Oh, yeah, but he doesn't sleep.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he does it. Seriously, I could not. I'm on camera a lot too, and I could not. I still could not do. He does a lot. I get tired. Like I will get off of here and be white.
We should hit on I think this is a very valid question that someone has here. Did we get no extradition? And I think when we were talking earlier, you were explaining to me that that's still not settled. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. So on January 4th, Judge Vanessa Breitzer ruled against extradition. Okay. Obviously, the United States prosecution appealed that decision. And then in October, there was like another appeal hearing. And so this is just another appeal of an appeal. So in the last appeal, the judge overturned the what's the word I'm looking for? The reasons, I guess, for the no extradition ruling. And so it opens up the door for sure. This past thing that happened in October 10th, I think it was October 10th. This is like a huge leap towards extradition. Like there had been a couple of baby steps here and there, but what just happened, that's kind of a huge leap towards extradition. It could go a couple different ways. I personally think they're probably going to try to kick the can down the road more, and tie it up in court more. I don't know though. It could get, just rubber stamped. Isn't
it kind of splitting hairs at this point?
Yes, it's murder in slow motion. No matter what, how they want to what show they want to put on. It's all really the same at this point. I mean, unless they free him, which is the only rational decision. Like if you are a human being who thinks, for yourself and who thinks critically and has there's no reason for this guy to be in prison.
I think we could actually say they freed him tomorrow. I think we could still use the phrase "it's murder in slow motion." Like everything that happened to him and the state that he's in mentally and physically, and
he will never recover.
Right now. No, he can't. He will
never recover.
So even if he was freed tomorrow, it's
they've already destroyed. I hate to say that because that sounds very
I know
bad, but I want to be honest with people that they really have fucked him up. Just be honest with yourself, because I think there are some people who still think that if he's freed, he's going to come out and be Julian Assange again. And that's not going to happen.
No. That's what breaks my heart about his family, because I want to. Everybody wants to see them together. It's more than tragic. There's no really words to describe their experience. But I honestly can't really imagine what it'll be like if he did get out tomorrow. What he will be like as a person, and what his family life will be able to be like. It's, we want to see that all work out and be that be good and his family be together. But
if we're being real with ourselves,
reality is not positive. It's just not.
And that's not us being. People tell me I'm negative all the time. That's not me being negative. I'm being realistic. You guys have to be real with yourselves, and then you need to also realize that as great as it would be if Julian Assange was freed, that doesn't mean the fight stops. That doesn't mean the fight. This is going to be an
Chelsea got back arrested again.
Yes.
And was in solitary again for
and just the increased attacks on journalism, on whistleblowers that we've seen over the past 10 or 15 years. There's always been an attack on journalism because, again, powerful people don't want their secrets exposed. And that's what journalism is meant to do. And so there's been attacks on that forever. But the last 10 or 15 years, it has been ramped up exponentially. It's bad. We're in a really bad spot. And it's only getting worse. I mean, we're on like a steep decline at this point.
Yeah. Even if it ended tomorrow, you're right that the attacks on other people and journalism and free speech and everything would obviously continue to ramp up. But if Julian were freed tomorrow, to think that he would just suddenly be left alone by the people in power and by people that have been affected, I don't even know what that would end up looking like where he would have to be safe.
Mexico, AMLO's once again offered him safe haven. I don't trust any motherfucker. Not a one, because we thought we had a good with Ecuador.
Every time it's about time for court, that motherfucker offers that. That was
I know,
one of the things that was cited as why they didn't give him bail.
Yes, I'm skeptical. Yes, because they were like, he's a flight risk. They were like, that's why they didn't give him bail. Yeah, and
they did it again. What, a month before the fucking next thing? Like
every time there's like we're fighting for bail or like release.
So shout out
he
to
pops
Nat.
out. Yeah,
just shout out to Nat for informing me that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. Thank you, Nat.
I kind of think he is.
Yeah, he's great at PR. Oh, did we lose him?
No.
What happened?
Oh, did he just kill his cam or something?
I don't know. I don't know, dude. Hopefully he'll come back. Eric, there he is. But yeah, Julian Assange is.
We got no audio.
We can't hear you.
You muted?
No, it doesn't say muted.
No.
Julian Assange gave up so much.
Yeah, I'm so tired of people being so critical of, not that there's anybody else like Julian Assange, but people who give a lot of themselves and put themselves in positions to be vulnerable based on what they're doing. And sometimes that's like great people like Julian Assange and people that are doing it for the right reasons, but that they can also be just other people that have like celebrity status or whatever. Just the fact that people can be so picky and critical about literally everything they do when the majority of the people saying these things could never ever do anything like that. Like whether it's actually be somebody like Julian Assange or Chelsea Manning, like what you guys were talking about earlier, if you'd be able to do that or not. Most people wouldn't be able to. But
I wouldn't be able to.
Like,
straight up.
Even just like a famous person, most people couldn't even handle that. But then they just sit at home and they're so picky and critical about literally everything. And like, just stop. You could never do that. Just leave them alone. And I don't know. I'm just so tired of the.
Yeah, I'm tired of people not looking at the real issue, because it's not about whether or not Julian Assange is an asshole or if he smells bad or if he it's not about if he works for Russia. That's not what this is about. This is about the Chelsea Manning leaks. This is about collateral murder. This is about the Iraqi and Afghanistan war logs. This isn't about so many people are so confused about what it's even about. But none of that matters. None of that's they've this whole propaganda smear campaign that they've waged against him. They've labeled him as so many things that if you say it enough, it eventually becomes true. And people just regurgitate this information like it's factual. And that's why I've said before, in my experience, generally speaking, if you get somebody who's not like ridiculously overly emotional about it and who's like just rage filled, but if you get somebody who's like willing to listen to you, if you expose them to reality, most people are like, wait, what? This is happening? Like, this is really, and yes, you know what I mean? Like, because it really is. We went over this the other day on the KRTD Sabby Sabs New Year's Eve thing. They let me rant, which I really appreciate that, you guys, because that was nice. I felt better after that. But yeah, it's this whole thing where I don't think people. Now I forget what I was even talking about. was I even talking about?
What was your rant about on Sabby Sabs?
I had lots of rants on Sabby Sabs. I don't remember what I was trying to talk. I'll think of it later.
Great part.
I saw somebody in the comments, and I had asked you guys earlier, and I don't think you saw it because you're both not great at the comments. So, just wondering if anybody's planning on going to the defeat the mandates thing.
Oh, and on the 23rd or whatever.
Yeah, on the 23rd. Just wondering if like a group of people, if they happen to be there,
like
just like
to.
that would be a crowd to be able to help connect some of the dots on Assange stuff, and just a opportunity to bring it up.
I would totally hijack that
hand
shit
out
a little bit.
Pins, stickers, whatever.
Can you guys hear me again?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Have you guys flown recently?
No.
And I suppose you would probably be driving out it even if you did go, Misty.
Yeah. It's like a 6.5 hour drive for me to DC.
And it's on the 23rd.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going.
I want to go. It's just hard for me to like. Seriously, my husband worked like he just got done with 8 days over 100 hours straight.
That's too much.
Yes.
So he has 3 days off now, but it's very. He doesn't have like a schedule. I have 2 kids. They're in school. Like it's hard. It's harder for me to be able to schedule stuff like that. You know, especially right now, I might like where they're talking about going back to remote, so I might have to be a teacher again soon, which is fucked up. I'm not a teacher.
Other topic that we could talk about.
I mean, at least I can radicalize them though. I will say that, like, it's like they don't really get. It's not the same education. You know what I mean? It's not like my kids question everything too. Yeah. They know who Julian Assange is. They know who Chelsea Manning is. They know what war crimes are.
Yes.
You know,
my son, when he was like 3, he understood like the concept of what blowback is, like why you don't go into a country and you go do some stuff. But like because kids understand things. They understand like
common fucking
like
sense.
The logic of like you know, because that's like a developmental thing that you get to the point of where cause and effect. Kids play with cause and effect toys to make sure that they like get that developmental thing, and that's what that is. And I was talking about something like that, and he got it.
Sense. Yeah. Seriously, it's mind-boggling to me because it's so readily apparent that can't we just be grown-ups and realize that blowing people up for profit is not a good thing to do, and just kind of try to work together and use our words. Like that's one of the first things we teach our kids. Don't hit, use your words. And then the people who run shit are blowing children up for profit. It's fucked up. And again, the way we just accept this as if it's like a normal this is the best we can do. It's weird. Don't accept that shit. That's crazy. That's not acceptable. We can do better than that. Come on. We can do better than that. Right? Can't we just all try to work together and stop being stupid and tribalistic and weird and needlessly violent and greedy? It's really not, to me it seems like it's not that complicated. It's really not. We shouldn't accept that people in positions of power can blow other countries up and invade other countries, and it's not a thing we should be doing anymore. It's 2021.
It really sucks that people, the average person in like Western countries, the countries that are doing the majority of the blowing up and the bad things, take the bait every time to fight with each other, to have our enemies be our neighbors and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to getting mad about that kind of stuff. We're busy being mad at each other, and we're busy being distracted by all the stuff that they put in front of our faces. Like they have perfected how to exploit all of these human problems that we have with the way that our brains and our motivation and everything works. And it's just everybody's
their handle over the narrative. They legitimately have, I mean, nearly full control, and they're able. I mean, if you guys just look at the way that operates, they are really good at it. I mean, look at how many times they've been able to sell you a war or whatever. And these are people that we know that they lie. Like we have plenty of evidence over the course of history. We know these people lie all the time, and yet still whatever it is in the human psychology, like we think, oh well, this time they're telling us the truth. There's those people
I know
and it's
like
come on,
what am I?
It wasn't that fool me once, fool me twice. Like, come on, people.
Your starting off position should be they're lying. And then you should go from there.
one of my first kind of realizations with, and firsthand, I kind of always kind of assume this anyway, of the whole like Western world not really paying attention to what's going on, and the rest of the world kind of does get it. When I was in Egypt, I worked with a guy who was a local, and so this was all during the throughout of Mubarak and the Arab Spring and everything. So I didn't understand what was going on in country at all. I didn't know the recent history of Egypt anyway. And so I would go to this guy, and he was literally the equivalent of like a cable repairman. That was his trade, right? And so I'd go to him and I'd be like, dude, what's going on? Like, I don't understand any of this. And he would explain to me in detail what was happening. He would tell me what is going to happen. He was saying Mubarak was so out of control, it was going on for 30 years. And what's going to happen is they're going to remove him. And then when they remove him, they're going to install someone who is just as bad or worse. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So that happened. I was there for a year. So I got there like a month before they threw Mubarak out. After a number of months had gone by, I'd be like, I'd go to him again. I'm like, dude, so now what? And then he would explain to me, and like, it was so like, you can put cable repairman, whatever level of intelligence you want, but it was, everyone understood what was happening. As opposed to, you go to a cable repairman here in the US and their complaints are whatever kind of side of the fence that they sit on, as opposed to the people of Egypt understood exactly what was going on in their country, in real time.
Yeah. Oh, we're really up against it.
We're so far gone as far as like, other countries do recognize news stations as propaganda too. That's the other thing. It's
I know,
Southeast Asia, like they recognize news is propaganda. Why do you watch that? They say to America, why do you watch that stuff? It's propaganda.
I don't know. I don't know. Why is anybody, seriously though, this is enough. It's like a mind fuck for me. Why is any rational thinking human being watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or they've like in court been, no, they're not real. Like in court, that's been said. Nobody should think that they're real. And people still watch them and think that they're being informed, think that they're getting legitimate information. And it's fascinating to me in a bad way. But I mean, it is still fascinating that people allow themselves to be pulled. You know what I mean? It's really frustrating. And that's again where the fight is, because people are complacent, and it's an intentional complacency. I don't think they're even at fault for it. They've been lulled to sleep.
Oh, definitely.
And they have no idea what's going on, and they're tired and they're overworked, again, by design.
Yes.
And so they only
all
have
of it by design.
It's all of this is by design, but that's what we're up against. And we're really far gone. We really are.
Yeah.
We're really far. They have us fighting over the absolute dumbest of things. The absolute dumbest of fucking things, while they rape and pillage and plunder.
I mean, we are in the dumbest timeline.
We are.
Yes. And then at the same time that people can't seem to recognize that our mainstream media is propaganda here and really just reporting and saying things at the behest of the government. At the same time, those same people can look at RT and they're like, oh, you can't watch that because that's state-controlled media. And they'll look at like media.
I
know.
Yeah. It's labeled, Emma. It's labeled.
Now YouTube tells you, it warns you. But
it's dangerous.
The fact that people, like, when that started being a thing, even before it was like a little footnote or banner on YouTube, and people started talking about it being a thing more, suddenly everybody seemed to think they were really like smart for realizing that like RT and these other outlets are state-run media. Like it made them feel better about themselves. Like that they have that in that country, but we don't have that here.
Yeah.
Like,
I love a good CNN viewer who comes at me for posting an RT article. Like, really?
Oh, God.
Really? You don't think CNN is complete? Because here's the thing. Corporations control our media. Corporations control our government. So our media is essentially government run and government controlled. They are owned and operated by the same people. Again, it's a big club. As George Carlin has said, it's Mickey Matt. You know what I mean? It's all of this stuff is interconnected. They all work together. They all serve each other. And you know, there's no, that's it. It's depressing.
And the proof of that is not hidden. Just like all of these things
No.
that have like that have been mentioned, basically all of the things that people like us ever
Just
talk
look at
about.
who's advertising on the networks.
Yes. Like,
That's
like,
all you have to do.
There'll be news that's like
Boeing.
sponsored by Pfizer.
Yeah,
And then
they'll
we're
do
we're supposed to listen
like
to what
a
they're
foreign
saying.
policy piece sponsored by Boeing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this real life? Like, is
I
Why
need a
is
jet,
Boeing?
yo. I need a
Why does
jet.
Boeing have advertising to begin with?
why do
I know
pharmaceutical
any of-
companies
any
need
of
that?
them.
Why do
Yes.
pharmaceutical companies advertise? I'm not a doctor. Don't tell me
Exactly.
what like just figure out what's good for me. Tell my doctor, and then let my doctor, who's educated about these things, prescribe what he thinks is necessary. There should be no
People don't know-
advertising.
People don't know that pharmaceuticals are not advertised in the rest of the world.
Yeah, I know
It's
that
only
too.
in the U.S.
It's banned in many places.
But we don't need to know about the reality in other places because everything's actually the best here.
Yeah,
And
USA.
you're lucky to be here.
USA. Yeah, we're the
Yeah,
best
right.
country in the world.
And if you
We're
don't
the
like it,
worst.
Leave.
We're the worst. I don't think that that's even debatable, fam. We do more damage than I think every other country combined. I mean, if we're being honest, it's that's not. I don't think that's hyperbolic to say. I think that's pretty fair. I think that's pretty fair. That we cause more damage than every fucking buddy else.
I'm
I know,
sorry,
and
North
it's-
Korea does not have 700 military bases across the globe.
It's like 1,000,
I
and they
know.
don't spend like $1 trillion on the military.
Yeah.
And yeah, they got their problems. Every fucking country has their problems.
Yeah.
Literally,
Of
all of them.
course. Like that. I don't
We-
know. Can people not understand that?
Yes. Listen, humans are imperfect. We're going to have imperfect systems. We're going to have to there's going to be conversations, and there's going to be growth, and there's going to be, we're not going to have all the right answers, and everybody's going to have like differences, and we're going to be in different places, and some people will be good at some things, and some people, that's life. But yeah, it's just we're the cause of a lot of the problems that those countries that we try. It's like when we look down on, recently it's been China for their jailing of journalists. Are you joking me? Anthony Blinken put out a tweet like criticizing China for jailing a journalist while they are currently torturing Julian Assange in Belmarsh. They talk about human rights all the time, like the extradition, the ruling that we just had, the bullshit ruling we just had for Julian Assange was on International Human Rights Day.
Yes,
it's amazing
that's
how
true.
blatant this bullshit is, and they come out and they preach on World Press Freedom Day. Kamala Harris will come out and put a tweet out about how press freedom is so important, and we should like, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'm glad a lot of countries like China pushed back against it and like came at, which was awesome. There was a couple really good videos that came out of that. The president of Azerbaijan came at us, or really they came at the BBC. So I guess they were going more after the UK, but the US is
Potato.
Yeah, it's the same thing. But yeah, like it's these other countries are now, because, and that's another thing that people aren't considering, is that the fact that we're doing this has made it acceptable the world over for authoritarians everywhere to shut down press freedom and to jail journalists and to murder journalists. And we can't criticize them. I mean, legitimately, we try. We try. It's amazing. And then you read the comments on those posts, it's like these sycophants fawning and like, yes, press freedom is the foundation of democracy. And you're like, what planet do you live on?
That's when I try to remind myself that like 90% of the internet, especially social media, is like probably not real. Remember when everybody was so worried about like troll farms and all that kind of stuff, and then later it came out, which we could have assumed that this existed, but then the proof was there that like
Hi, Sally.
the US military actually does things like this. Like and that's just what we know. So even though I still like get really bothered by it and I get sucked into it, I have to think that sometimes on some of the bigger posts from like bigger personalities, some of that first stuff that gets posted as a response that's like the most maddening ones, is there to inspire the next people that see it and to get them to think that, like there's a psychological thing happening.
Absolutely.
The most recent like kind of mind screw that I've noticed when noticing things like that you're saying is that you'll go to, it could be someone who was pro something you're not, and they get ratioed, right? And they get ratioed to hell, right? And then there's someone else who also posts something that's pro something that you're not, and they have a boatload of positivity behind it, right? Where it's not ratioed, it's all likes, handful of comments. And that confuses the hell out of me, because I'm like, why is this person over here getting ratioed, right? A blue check mark, and this other blue check mark is not. Do you guys ever notice stuff like that?
No, I've never really, but I mean, I guess you could break that
sense.
down to like different audiences and, or like a lot of the times, something will just get picked up and it'll go viral.
Yeah.
Right.
And that brings people who wouldn't ordinarily see that tweet because it's not in their timeline. It's not in their algorithm. It's not in their, little corner of the world. Twitter's very segregated. You are put into your own little echo chamber.
For sure.
So, I mean, if it's not something you would ordinarily see in your feed, then if it doesn't go viral in your neck of the woods, then you just won't, it won't even cross it. But I mean, that's also
I just question whether that's like organic or if it's,
I don't think any of that stuff's organic.
No, I wouldn't think so. And we know, like, it's come out that Facebook, and so probably Twitter, has crafted people's news feeds in a certain way and experimented on people in the past to see what happens when they put a certain kind of tone of thing in people's news feeds. So algorithms probably could be kind of cool in like a perfect world when there aren't terrible people in charge of things, but I don't trust any of that. I'm wearing a good shirt for this. Don't trust the algorithm.
I'm wearing my Andrew shirt.
That's the photo. I took that photo. That's great.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I have that shirt around
wearing my
somewhere.
Andrew shirt.
I was like, I have to buy this shirt that I took the photo of the person I know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The person I know made that.
Thanks, Magnus.
Yes. But when something like that happens, especially if it's like 2 blue check marks and maybe the amount of like interaction and reach that the posts had was similar, but one is like everybody celebrating them and the other one is everybody criticizing them, that the algorithm probably unorganically put that one of the things in front of the opposite audience on purpose. Like something might have helped that happen unorganically for some sort of reason. Maybe not. But that's also always something like to consider when we're looking at like corporate social media platforms. There's so much manipulation happening, and
that's the thing is like, I don't know. It's like, is this person being manipulated on purpose and getting ratioed on purpose? Is there something else going on aside from whatever it is that their post was, informing people of, right? Whether it's COVID or whatever, right? So there's this, like I said, like it doesn't even have to be a celebrity. It could be, Twitter celebrity, if you will, right? And they got the blue check mark and they got all the right things in the bio, right? And it's, you're virtually the same profile, right? It's this Twitter celeb who's got in the tens of thousands of followers, right? They boast virtually the same thing. This one gets ratioed. This one is all positive. And that's where I'm like, is there something, there's got to be, their algorithm certainly plays a role in that. And my question is like, is there also, organically speaking, like kind of like what you were saying, Emma, was like someone in your echo chamber got hold of this, they have a decent following, then and boom, they're ratioed. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I think that's what's so frustrating about it, is because there's no way of us knowing exactly how much of that is organic, because even the like the bot activity that then further manipulates the other responses. And it creates a certain narrative around so it's so layered, it's so multifaceted that it's really creepy how effective they are. It's essentially mind control.
Definitely. It's psychological operations.
Absolutely.
Like it's a thing. I remember when I first started learning about what was it called? MySoc. I think they changed the name though, so it's just like psychological operations that the U.S. military does
in Florida.
It started out a long time ago as it was the people that would drop pamphlets in another country to influence them from, and it's morphed from that, and it's gone through a couple of different name changes. Like Monsanto is Bayer, to like make it to try to disassociate with like what was happening before. but now it's turned into all on a tech level where it's not happening only in other countries. It's available information that you can see that they do that within the US too. And so I can only imagine that social media is a huge tool that they use for that.
Of course.
Yeah. No, and that's what I mean by we're really far behind.
Yeah. And we can't know the full scope of any of this. And some of it I think about and go down those rabbit holes sometimes, but then sometimes
it's a lot.
I try not to because I can never get to the end of it, and I also don't want to go crazy in the process of learning about it and like becoming really paranoid and
it's really
unsure
overwhelming.
Of what's real in my life.
Yeah, it does give you like what was that movie, The Truman Show, or with Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of movies, but yeah, I've seen that one, and it is a little bit like that. Like you start to question literally everything around you, because it does come at every angle. I mean, really, at every angle. So, and it's from birth. You're, bombarded with the shit from birth. And that's why, like Julian Assange said before, all of these ideological differences that we have, we can't even have those conversations because we don't even know what the truth is. We don't even know what's really happening.
No.
So, I mean, I don't know. Ugh, it's just, I do want to show, hold on. I want to show, there's a couple things because we should wrap here pretty soon. But I wanted to, where the fuck am I? Okay, there we go.
You're right here.
Sorry, guys. I'm very off today. I just came off my antidepressants. I've been tweeting about it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like 9 days. Yeah, I'm off. Like I managed to wean myself down and off. But it's been like 9 days, and I'm still getting like some brain zaps, and I feel weird and like kind of all over the place, and kind of out of my body, sort of. So yeah.
So normal, Misty, is what you're saying.
Just worse, because normally I'm just like,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Crazy and out of control because of my ADHD, but this is another level. This is like that and my ADHD mixed.
Yeah.
So it's a whole other level of weird. Okay, so this was just tweeted in my timeline today, and it's fucking beautiful.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I saw that.
That is...
Who did that?
We all saw that because
I don't know. I don't know if this person did it or if they just tweeted it, but whoever did it, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
Hey, there's my girl Kaylee. Hi, Kaylee. I love Kaylee. Kaylee is one of my best little allies. She's very good at having my back on Twitter, and I appreciate her very much. And then there was something else I wanted to show. What was it? Think. Oh, I know. Hold on. Hold, please. It was Bean's new thing that he put out. If you guys don't follow Somerset Bean, you should be. Bean does the best graphics ever, and has done a ton of stuff for the Assange movement. They have a website where you can download like flyers and buttons and posters and all kinds of cool shit. There you are. So this is the latest graphic that he pulled up in honor of the knighthood. Fucking Tony Blair's and fuck this shit. We live in the worst timeline, you guys. The worst. The worst. War criminals are getting knighthoods, and Julian Assange is going to die in prison. They're murdering him. Oh.
I would debate being burned at the stake for being a witch too, as it being a pretty messed up timeline.
Yeah.
Hey Misty, can you show the link I just threw into the private chat?
Yeah.
It's the Commander X actions coming up.
Oh, on the 11th, January 11th.
Yeah, and in the thread, there's a link that you can view the court proceedings if you can't be there. So please do that, as many people as possible.
Okay, let me see. Here we go. Okay, so important reminder that a week from today is X's next hearing. So we will be outside the San Jose District Courthouse showing support for our bro. And some of us will go inside to watch the hearings, which start at 9 a.m. Pacific. So it's at the Robert F. Peckham building, federal building. Is that 280 South 2nd Street in San Jose, California. On January 11th, they're going to meet at 8:30. Stuff starts at 9. I think Steve and Glory and Keith McHenry are going to try to get inside to actually be in the courtroom to watch the proceedings. Who knows if they'll let them? They'll maybe some COVID bullshit that they pull out of their ass. So, and then
it is California.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's true. So if you can't be there in person, there is a Zoom link. I will put this in the chat as well. so everybody can bookmark it or whatever. So you can go, and you can also you can still show support that way. That floods the system. So at least that shows them that we're paying attention. So
that's a good point.
Yes. So please do that if you can.
Is he in okay health wise?
No.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything super bad about it.
No, not anything super bad, but he's getting older. He's had a lot of health issues recently. He's in jail, which is never good for your health.
No.
No.
So
no.
Yeah. So it is. Yeah. He shouldn't. And again, as Kevin Gusolo would say, he shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
So
we're hoping he'll be able to get the fuck out of there soon. So
yeah.
Is that something that can come from what happens on January 11th?
I don't think.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Process?
It's hard to say.
There's some info on that account, I believe.
It's at @FreeCommanderX_. You can follow that on Twitter. They also have a website, but there's a lot of information there. Glory Jones just explained it to me the other day, but court stuff makes my head hurt a little bit. So I think this is just like another like kind of kicking the can down the road kind of a hearing. You know how it works, and it drags on forever. Everything in the court system is super fucking slow.
Yeah, check out that account too and write him a letter. He's bummed out, I guess. So
yes, that's a huge thing that you guys can do. And please do it for Daniel Hale, Joshua Schultz, Julian Assange, whoever. Any political prisoner, anybody that you support or whatever, if they're in jail currently, write them letters. That's a major thing. It's like a connection to the outside. It's so helpful. I just wrote to Daniel Hale the other day.
Is there a place where the addresses of some of these
people
are collected in one place?
No, but we should do that.
That would be really
great.
Yeah, send me the addresses, Missy, and I'll throw a thing on your site.
That would be really, really
that
cool.
would be awesome to have like a one-stop shop so everybody can go and write them.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how often people say, what's the address? And I'll go and like copy paste and then give it to them. But if we just had I could just say, hey, here's a website. Look at all these people.
Just send me all of them, any images you got, and I'll throw it on there.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
And if anybody has anybody that you want to add to the collection, let me know. I'm not going to remember everybody. I know everybody thinks that I should be able to know about, support, champion for literally all the people, but I cannot. I'm just one person.
I'm disappointed.
I know.
I know. Very disappointed.
Come on, Missy, you don't have anything going on.
Don't equally support literally all the things, then nothing matters. Nothing I say matters.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Misty, how come you don't care about the thing and the other thing?
Yeah.
I was gonna say though, if you're gonna go to court and you want it to be a speedier process, you should probably just be involved in child sex trafficking connected to the ruling class, because then it'll be a
speedy trial,
pretty speedy process. And you won't even have news cameras in your face or anything.
And then everybody connected with you will be protected, and it's all fine.
I'm not serious.
Jade,
I'm not recommending it.
Jade, we don't want images. We want addresses. Images would be fine, I guess. I don't know, just like little whatever memes or whatever, I guess, of like the addresses.
Work too.
Whatever. We just need addresses of whistleblowers, journalists, political prisoners, people who are in jail for ridiculous reasons. We should probably keep it organized to around whistleblowers, like not literally all your friends in prison or whatever. That's a lot. But whistleblowers and journalists who are currently incarcerated.
That would be a really awesome list to keep up and just have that as a thing going forward, like a place to find it, because there's a lot of it's the same thing with everything. Every time some sort of thing makes the news, whether it's a whistleblower or like a person that got kidnapped or something, which happened with the Gabby Petito thing. For some reason, some of them make it in the media and we pay attention to everything, but a lot of times there's names that most people have never heard of. So if there's names that aren't in the media, and people, or
which
not
we
even
try,
the media, but among just
really
regular people too,
to talk about lots of people. We do. Sleepy, can we also add any like fundraising links that these people have?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Okay. Because I know
start sending them to me and I'll add them.
Okay, David McBride is still doing his fundraiser. If you don't know about him, you should. I love him. He's an amazing Australian whistleblower. Daniel Hale has a whistleblower. Daniel Hale has a fundraiser. He had to be kind of dragged into supporting the creation of, because he's very, very humble and doesn't think he needs help or deserves help or whatever. So yeah, he finally was talked into a fundraiser. So it's like for legal fees and then post release. Hopefully he will not have to spend the entire 54 months. We'll see. I don't know who else has I don't know if Craig Murray still has a fundraiser for his legal fees. I don't know if he's already managed to cover all of that. I don't know. But I know that he has his Substack, which helps him a lot. So, and you should be subscribed to that anyway, because it's Craig fucking Murray. He's amazing. His daily breakdowns of the 3 weeks in September of 2020. I think it's 2020. Yeah.
I mean, that coverage is what made them go after him straight.
Yes.
They said it in the fucking indictment.
Yeah. So, but it's just really great writing. He's a brilliant writer. He does great coverage of that stuff. And again, I've kind of noticed that this is a trend. All of these people, John Kiriakou, David McBride, Craig Murray, they are all incredibly humble and much more concerned with other people than they are themselves. Like Craig Murray was in the midst of his own legal bullshit and still focused on Assange. And like, even when he got released from jail, he was like, I may be free, but I'm not free until Julian is free. Like he's like, they're all like that. There's a huge amount of camaraderie and support, mostly, not all, but mostly in the whistleblower and journal. Like there's a lot of that. Not all, but
it really speaks to the type of person and yes. how much we generally as a culture, not us individually, but don't put people like that up on a pedestal, but we put like politicians and stuff up on pedestals. And as soon as they're not in office, there's like 1 in 100 of them that stick around and continue to try to do something and talk. The majority of them are gone. And like, they just talked about how much they care about you for 4 years or whatever. Like they said so much stuff that's clearly not true, because as soon as they're done, where did they go? They fall off the face of the earth. And
Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah. Oh, that's where they've been.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to see the people who have gone through this terrible stuff, which I understand if they do want to be silent and disappear afterwards because of what they've gone through. They are allowed to do that too, but a lot of people keep talking.
Yeah, they certainly don't owe us anything else.
No, they don't.
Not a damn thing.
No, but even though they don't, they continue because it's the kind of person. It's a huge difference to the other people that as a culture we put up on a pedestal.
Yeah. Well, Daniel Hale, John Kiriakou told this story actually on RT. I think it was RT one time. Daniel Hale's the kind of person who, I mean, you get charged under the Espionage Act. It's kind of hard to find employment, right? So he was looking for employment. He got hired as a dishwasher at a restaurant, and he ended up getting fired because he tried to organize the staff.
Because you can't stop.
That's the kind of dude you're dealing with. Like that's the kind of person you're dealing with. So I mean, seriously, that's why I love these people so much, because a lot of them are just extraordinary human beings, and brave as fuck.
And they didn't have to do what they did.
No,
at all.
They couldn't be quiet, and they risked a lot to do what they did.
That's why we should support them.
Yes,
Imagine if we like immediately had the backs of our truth tellers, because like Daniel Ellsberg, everybody shit on him, but then 40 years later, he's hailed as a hero. Even Snowden was initially reviled and he was a traitor and he was all of these things. And now like the narrative has shifted and a lot more people see him as a hero. And so there's always that narrative shift years, decades later. But what if we supported our truth tellers like in real time? What if we did that? Like, let's just try it. Can we just try it? Let's just try it. Like just for a little bit.
I'm okay with that. I
mean, can we? Yeah. Seriously, imagine. Definitely. Oh, it would be beautiful. It would be a beautiful thing. It really would. Oh, but we don't. We're not going to. Anyways, we should wrap because I have kids to get to bed, and it's been a weird fucking week, and it's here we are again. But we are gonna have I still can't believe we've been doing this for almost 3 years.
Insanity.
It is. I'm
There's
tired.
like so many things behind that. Like,
yeah.
wow, that's great. Like how many, the dedication
not.
and the connections that have been
But
made.
it's
But the reason, I know.
know.
But then
It's
also, if you didn't
good
have
for all the
to-
wrong reasons.
Yes, but it's another one of those. It's kind of what we were just talking about. Like, say things went a different way, and Julian was free a year ago
doesn't
or
stop.
whatever. Yes, you guys would still be.
Yes.
You wouldn't just go home and be quiet. You'd still be doing stuff. This would still be.
There would
thing.
be plenty to
So,
talk
yes,
about.
Yes.
If Julian was free tomorrow, I would shift focus to Daniel Hale or whatever, and or just speech in general, narrative management.
Until they stop throwing whistleblowers in jail, we're gonna like keep doing this.
Yeah.
But even if they stop that, there's so many other things.
I mean,
the
reason I just focus on this because, in my personal opinion, this is the front line. As I say all the time, this is the front line. This is what has to be dealt with first. So that's why I personally focus on what I focus on. And I'm sorry if that makes you mad that I don't focus on your thing or that I don't talk about the right person. Or I'm sorry, but I don't. Not really. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, it's that just makes me tired though. Like saying that like I'm already tired. I'm already fucking tired, you guys. God damn it. So it's just, I think that what wears me out the most is the ridiculousness of what's happening. Because to me, it's so blatant and in your face that it's really frustrating to me that grown ass adults can't recognize what's going down. But that just again is a credit to their propaganda game. They're very good. They know what they're doing. We're really far behind. We're getting our asses kicked. And I don't know. But we're gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna keep fighting. I have to. We all should have to, that's all we can do.
If we're gonna end soon, I'll just try to do a positive here.
All right.
What you're saying that everything that you said is true, and it's hard, and it can be really draining and can be depressing at times. But I try to remind myself and think about, even though this is kind of a negative way to go too, but what things would be like if we weren't doing this.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna see the utopia that each of us thinks would be great to have. That's just not reality. But we could see things a heck of a lot worse than they are right now. So all of the people that are activists for whatever their different causes are, each of those things would probably look a lot different if those people didn't exist and weren't working as hard.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really important to remember that we might not see what we want, but things could be so much worse, and things could be so much worse for our children in the future if we weren't doing
well, and we have
like
two choices: lay down and take it, or fight back.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a lay down and that sounds really dirty.
That's yes.
We know what you meant.
Right. Now that
it came out of my mouth, I was like, what the fuck did I just say?
You almost got it. That's what she said, Adam.
You should have, Sleepy. You should have done it.
You should have.
She did it to herself. She realized it halfway through.
I did. As soon as I said it, Sleepy, I was like, what the fuck did you? That was exactly what just went through my head. What the fuck did you just say? Yeah.
But that's so true, though, that like we can't, a lot of people, once you realize some of this stuff, you can't just ignore it anymore.
No, I say it all the time. Once you know, you can't unknow.
Yes.
You can't. There's no going back. There's no going back. You can't. I mean, maybe some people can. I haven't figured out a way to do that.
I don't think they truly saw what was. I don't think you can. I don't think you can go back. I really don't. And as much as I would like to wake everybody up in the world to what is going on so they can never go back to, I think most people need to get to
I know everybody's
some sort
on their
of personal
own
point
I'm
where like they need to get
impatient.
to that, and then they'll.
I'm very
I understand.
But just like you were describing the personality types of the people who are fighting the hardest against this stuff, and even when their lives are going to shit, they're still fighting for it. That type of personality type is one. You could shove us in another, right? And then the people that we're trying to like get to like realize what the hell's going on, they're another personality type where I don't know if there's an answer. If we could show them every bit of information we've ever seen, and they still might just go, you know what, the world's too crazy for me to care about it that much, and I'm just going to try to do.
It's so crazy that a lot of people just can't like process what's
happening.
happening.
They can't.
Yeah. They shut down. Like once they might have like started to like take a peek, and then they're like, oh my god, that's scary, and they just shut their brain off.
Absolutely.
I usually refer to it as like they're stuck in a self-preservation cycle, like
because it's a lot.
Yes,
it's a lot.
really hard, and like
It
our
is.
lives will never be the same. Like we
No.
can look at other people and be like, oh dang, I wish I
I'm
was
jealous of people
blissfully
sometimes.
ignorant, and yeah, and I could live like you, but I can't at this point. So I get that people get they can't, they have to keep the blinders on, and they have to because if you start recognizing certain things, your whole entire like worldview and what your life is built on.
Your life is
like,
a lie. Your
yes.
whole life.
Which is not easy. It's not,
Fucking lie.
yeah,
That's a
I get it.
big thing.
Yeah.
That's it. Like to take that in and let that like sink into your soul. That's a fucking lot.
Especially
so I get it. I just am not patient.
Too.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
If you were a part of that, that's gonna be even harder for you to
like Danny Scherzen, as just as an example, you know, I mean, he's retired military, and he's somebody who's now an anti-war veteran, and he like when we've talked to him about that, like I've tried to, because I do that, like I try to picture myself in that person's shoes, and I can't imagine what that feels like to realize the role that you played. I mean, unknowingly, but it still must be really heavy to come to terms with that. And like, it's like that for a lot of things. And yeah, it's heavy. That's heavy stuff for people to come to terms with. That seriously, everything you ever thought you knew basically is bullshit. And to like process that information is overwhelming. I mean, it still overwhelms me now, even though like I know, like if I like stop and just think about it, I'm like, wow. Wow. That's big. It's big. It's heavy. That's why I hope that... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I thankfully, never deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan or any of the war zones or anything. And every one of my overseas assignments was either peacekeeping or humanitarian missions. Again, bullshit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't war,
Yeah.
I don't know how I could have lived with myself if I had been deployed, if I had to pull the trigger. I don't know what type of person I would be knowing what I know now.
Right. I mean, that's why we see 22 veteran suicides, right? Every day or whatever. It's of course. Yeah. Of course. What
over 30,000 troop suicides since the war on terrorism.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, but we all try to play like support the troop. We support the troops, and we do all these like big shows on Veterans Day and all these other. I mean, it's all garbage. We don't. If you support veterans, you'd stop.
You end it.
Yeah. Every anti-war veteran I've ever met has always said the same thing. If you support the troops, you would not support any of these wars.
None of them.
You would not send them.
And in fact, you would actively speak against them because it's
Correct.
unbelievably damaging and unnecessary. All of this shit is unnecessary. All of this is just about power, money, profit, control. That's it. All of these wars, they're not justifiable. They are not justifiable. And so it's damaging on so many levels. But to pretend like in this country that we give a shit about veterans is disgusting to me. It is like the whole circle jerk at sports games and like they listen, I love Ohio State football. I love college football, but the Ohio State marching band, which by the way, aside from all of the bullshit militarism and all that, they are an amazing marching band. If you're into that kind of thing, fucking fantastic. But they like just made a fighter jet formation on the field at the Rose Bowl, and it's like what is happening? It's like this glorification, but we don't take care of any of those people. We don't give a shit about them.
Nobody realizes that we haven't always been doing the national anthem at sporting events either.
Yeah, it happened after 9/11.
And
it's propaganda.
Most people don't understand that wasn't a thing.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy how people even something if that just started changing this year. There's people who would not realize it.
That's going to be a Mandela effect.
That it didn't happen before. Like
that's going to be a Mandela effect in like 30 years.
I don't know what happened to brains, but like people can't look into the past like 5 minutes these days.
Yeah, we have we have the like attention span of a goldfish. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, we are going to wrap though because I do need to just keep talking. But yeah, do you want to, Emma? Maybe you want to start and tell everybody where they can find you, what you have coming up, all that good stuff.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter. It's BYMYELF. So like by myself, but by my elf. I'm on Twitter a lot, I guess. But I work for the World Council for Health, which I highly recommend you check out.
We did an interview on Facts on the
worldcouncilforhealth.org.
Ground with Emma.
Yes.
You can check that out.
Yeah, and let's see, what do we have coming on Monday? This past Monday, what's today? Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. We had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on our live stream. We have a transparent General Assembly meeting every Monday, and we have really awesome guests. And he was our guest on Monday, so we have a video of that up on the website. Tess Laurie is one of our steering committee members, and later this month she's going to be speaking at the Greater Reset virtually. So if you don't know what that is, you should check out the Greater Reset too. And then I'm planning on going to the Defeat the Mandates thing in January. It is January, on January 23rd. So if anyone listening is going to that and you're on Twitter, send me a message or a tweet or something, because I think I'm going to go and like represent World Council for Health probably, and have my t-shirt on and hand out some stickers and try to tell people what that is. So
I want to go. I need to figure out how to make it work, because I need to Assange that shit up.
Yes, and then I would help you with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a big gathering, I think. So I need to Assange that shit up.
They have not announced yet who the people that are going to speak are, but a lot of really great people
doesn't matter.
Have been promoting it, so I can assume that they're going to be there.
Large gathering of people that we can Assange it up. No brainer. Down. I don't care who's speaking. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, Eric, what do you have coming up? Anything? Anything? What else you got?
I'm starting my channel. I will have something out here by the end of the week. I was trying to edit video and it sucked ass, so I got to go back to the drawing board. And thank you, Sleepy, for sending me that editing platform info. I will be diving into that here this week, and so look for that. It is. So I am Coy Contrarian on Twitter. It is going. I'll put a link for the. I'm going to start at YouTube. I know everyone hates YouTube, but I want an audience. I'm looking for unity. So you got to start where there's not an echo chamber, that you're going to have like the biggest platform. So, and then it's just going to be called the Coy Contrarian. I'm not going to give it some fancy name. It's just going to go. I'm just going to keep going on with my Twitter branding, I guess.
Nice.
That's good, because when I talk about you, I usually accidentally called you Coy. So
I do that all the time.
I know you and I know your name, but then I'll be like, oh, and then Coy.
Twitter. That's the thing. Like people call me Comrade Misty. That's the thing about Twitter, is that you know people by their Twitter handles, and it's hard to like, oh, they actually have a name.
Yeah,
like a real.
It's just
name.
funny because like I know you in person, like we know each other. I like, just had a really interesting situation happen with your mom. And, like,
yes, yeah,
that's funny.
I just my brain.
Okay.
I think I had like my actual face for my Twitter profile for all of like a week maybe, and then I realized people are gonna be like confused as hell, so I just put the Coy Contrarian logo back on there.
Oh, Twitter ridiculousness.
Twitter.
Okay, so what do I have tomorrow? I have Bitch. I don't know who's coming on. We'll see. Thursday, January 6th. If you want to avoid all of the liberal hysteria, meltdowns, and dramatic tellings of war stories, and crocodile tears from AOC, Glory Jones and I are premiering our new show on KRTD Media, which is called Free the Truth. It will be centered around political prisoners, whistleblowers, and journalism. So kind of like this, but less Assange focused. It'll be just in general. We're going to cover a whole bunch of different whistleblowers and imprisoned journalists and political prisoners of different varieties. So that starts on January 6th at 4:00 on KRTD Media. And then let's see. Oh, I have stuff coming on Facts, but I don't remember. Sunday we have somebody cool. I don't remember because we just booked it today, and I'm terrible at remembering names. You guys know that. I'll tweet about it.
It only matters that you're there, because nobody watches it for your guests. Everybody watches it for you, Misty.
No, I talk to really cool people. I talk to cool people.
Yeah. Well, then no doubt it'll be a cool person. So
it is definitely a cool person.
It's okay that you can't remember.
Yeah, I'm bad at I'm really bad at names, and I just have it's severe ADHD, friends. Welcome to my brain. So I don't know what else I have coming up. Okay, so on the vigil, we're gonna go back to Tuesdays and Fridays. I don't have anybody for this Friday yet. So I don't know if I get somebody fantastic. If I don't, maybe we'll skip it since we're kind of easing into the new year. And Eric's easing into co-hosting. I'm easing into more tech responsibilities, which gives me severe anxiety. But next Tuesday we have Alex Rubenstein coming on, who's an amazing journalist and my friend. But he writes sometimes for the Gray Zone and multiple other, and he also has a really cool podcast. So you can check that out on, I think it's just on Rockfin, I don't know. And then Thursday or Friday of next week, we have Juan Addy Ads, which was on the ground covering the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So, and he has, if you go on his Twitter page, he's a big Assange supporter. His pin tweet is about Julian Assange. So I'm really excited to have him on. I want to start like focusing a lot more on more activists and more journalists. So give those people their flowers now. So that's where I'm trying to kind of aim my booking. Andrew always did the booking. So you guys are going to have to give me a few weeks to get my feet underneath me because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So, and then I'm talking to Tara Reid. I haven't locked down a date yet, but she'll be coming on. Katie Halper's going to come on. And then let's see who else. I've reached out to a couple different people. Again, I've reached out to Craig Murray. I might have to call in a favor. I hate doing that. It feels so douchey.
Do
I know
it.
it's like I know it's a thing that people do all the time, but I want to talk to Craig Murray.
You can do
So
it.
I'm just going to suck it up and call in a favor because that would be dope. But that we'll have to do. If we have any UK guests, we may throw in like a random Saturday vigil at some point because time zones suck. So yeah, we may, like we used to do Saturdays at 1. We may, if we have some UK guests, we may have to do that again. So yeah, I'm excited. I'll let you guys know. I'll tweet about all the guests and everything that we have coming up this month. So far it's started off good. We have 2 back-to-back amazing guests next week. So hopefully we can continue that streak. We'll
Sounds
see.
like you're doing good
So far.
Yeah, no kidding.
So far.
You're
But
doing
right now I'm like highly motivated and I feel like empowered, but then I'll go through a phase where I have serious, what's it called, imposter syndrome, and I'm like, yeah, why the fuck does anybody want to talk to you? Shut the fuck up. Why are you asking Craig Murray to come on your show? You're dumb. Like I'll go through that phase. So
I have that problem every day. I
do that most
Same.
of the time, and then occasionally I get like this strange burst of courage where I like seriously rapid fire ask. Like today I sent probably like 12 different DMs to people, like rapid fire. I was like, all right, I feel good about this. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go.
You got to think about what prefaced that. What made that happen? What's the change? What's the key to the making the imposter syndrome go?
I don't know. I like just decided a few days ago I was going to quit fucking around because like I've been trying to talk. Like I went through some shit last year and it like caused me to like let my depression kick my fucking ass for the last half of the year. And I'm tired of doing that. So I'm like trying to like pump myself up. I need Glory Jones to send me some hype videos. So 'cause she's a great hype person. But yeah, like I started working out again. I promised myself I was going to do that. And I really did let myself get kicked in the ass by some shit. And I'm mad at myself about it. So yeah, right now I feel pretty like ready to go. That's not going to last though, you guys. It's just not. I know myself.
I
mean like
not with that
confidence.
attitude.
Yeah. Come on.
That's fair. That's fair. I really am a Debbie Downer. Okay, anyways, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. Thanks, Eric. Sorry this was kind of a weird episode, but again, I am like in a very weird space.
I don't care. I'm just happy to be here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Sorry for like the random like halfway through the show I'm going to shoot you a link and a DM and whatever. Oh, and also you guys should support Sleepy Josh because he is the best tech ninja in the whole wide world, and he has a buy me a coffee link on his Twitter, which is @abortyou. And I think it's just like buymeacoffee.com/abortyou, right? Something like that.
/Bort.
Okay. Yeah. So go support Sleepy Josh too. Yay, coffee.
Yeah, I need to go make some of that actually.
Yeah.
Good call.
He's not called Sleepy for no reason, you guys.
I've only had 1 pot today. I'm low.
Wow.
That's bad. I'm disappointed.
Get on it.
And Steve's here, so he drinks more than half of a pot. So
so you're like really down. Hey, there's Mona in the chat. Hi. Aw, I haven't seen Mona in forever. Yay. I just I never watched the chat. I just happened to glance over. Look at that.
Oh, my keyboard's all messed up too.
All right. Well, everybody go buy Sleepy Josh some coffee. And then I'll let you guys know about Friday. We'll see. Again, we're kind of easing back in post New Year's. So I do want to get to 2 days a week. I'm determined to double down our efforts because we're in kind of a critical phase right now. So let's go, bitches. So you do the whole sharing and stuff too. That's very helpful. And just like share the information about the Assange case and what's going on. That's super duper helpful. Like in real life conversations with people that you know, that's always the most effective. And you know, we have to put it into overdrive and make a lot of noise. I mean, he's going to die. I hate to end it on like a really terrible note, but he's dying. And you know, we're kind of up against a wall at this point. So on that note, have a good night, guys.
Bye, Missy.